Hello everybody and welcome back to some AOR highlights for the first time in a relatively long time, just because I've been really busy with college work and things like that. But yeah, at the time I'm commentating this, it's almost time for AOR Abu Dhabi, so I'm a bit behind in terms of AOR highlights. But heading into this round, from what I can remember, I think I was pretty confident with the setup and how I feel around this track. It's one of my favourite tracks on the game, so hoping for a good result around here. And you can see at the moment in qualifying I'm in P3, but we can definitely improve on that. I don't really remember what sort of times I was doing, because this was about 3 weeks ago now, but yeah, anyway. We haven't set the best first sector so far. Hasn't been amazing, but hopefully we can improve on that. You can see we've actually improved about a tenth there on the delta through one corner only, so I made a bit of a mistake there on the first run. And make sure you go and watch my latest video of my Logitech esports announcement. And you can see in this race I'm still under the gamer tag of Ollie D631, which will be changing for Brazil, I think, because it was just after Mexico, I think, where it got announced. So for this race in Mexico I'm still under the gamer tag of Ollie D631. And also recently I've received a webcam from Logitech, so I will be using that in some future videos once I get the right editing software to use it, pretty much. But still using Share Factory and Movie Maker for the time being. But you can see I'm nearly 3/10 up on this lap. In fact, now I am 3/10 up heading into the last sector. Turn 19 coming up. It's a really difficult corner, knowing where to turn in, but we're just gonna take it pretty nicely there, and it's really easy to extend the track as the real life drivers do, but on the game you get punished for that. So opening DRS now, and we've set a 32.4, which is, I think that was my online PB in the actual thing, which is definitely a good sign. And hopefully today we won't be beaten by a Resi, but we are in the end. And we only have 11 people turning up to today's race, which is pretty appalling for AOR standards, and that's purely because a lot of people don't like the game or they're busy and things like that. So hype has definitely gone with this game, but we are away in this race, and we've got a much better start than a Resi, going up the inside into turn number 1 to take the lead. And at this moment I just thought to myself, I've got to break away from these guys behind, and hopefully they'll start battling, because I did a bit of practice with Aresi, and once again his pace is not so insane on these tyres, but on the super soft tyres I don't know where he finds the pace from, but he was about half a second to a second a lap quicker than me, so I knew I've got to try and get away, and it was definitely vital to get in front of him at the start. We've managed to do that, which is definitely a good sign, and hopefully we can get away now. So pushing as hard as we can into rich fuel mix. Hopefully my teammate Wooly can start battling him, but I know in the second stint Aresi's going to come back to us, and I think we had a bit of a pace advantage on these tyres, but as I said, on the super softs I don't know where he gets pace from. I think he takes a bit too much out of his tyres on the super softs, but he just finds some absolutely insane pace. And maybe I should start practicing the second stint more, because usually when I'm practicing I do qualifying and then the first stint and then a couple of laps of the second stint, and then I stop when I do race runs online in this game to practice. So maybe I should do a bit more of the second stint, and then maybe my speed can improve. But Aresi, I don't know how he does it, but his pace is pretty insane. You can see we've actually got a 7/10 advantage on him now, and DRS is enabled, so we've still got to try and extend that a bit more to try and break the DRS from him. So we know that, yeah, he's still in contention for the championship despite his pretty poor finish at Japan. I think he finished 5th, so we still got to beat him today. And also Synthetic is quite far down at this stage, so he's pretty much, well, I'd say Synthetic and Aresi, it's not like that in terms of the standings, but I'd say they are my nearest rivals in this championship right now. So we've still got to try and beat Aresi, because he may be quite far off us in terms of the points, but he's definitely got the pace compared to the other people in terms of the championship fight. But you can see us two here on lap 9 have got a pretty massive gap over Clarkey in P3. So me and Aresi are looking good to come position 1 and 2, but I was pretty desperate to get P1 here today, because yeah, it's one of my favourite tracks, and you've got to make the most of an opportunity like this where you're leading the first stint. You've got to really try and get those 25 points and make the most of it, instead of getting 18 for second place, so that's 7 points lost. So we've got to make sure we can win this today, but we haven't been able to shake off Aresi, and I know that as long as we have track position, we could be in control of this race, but we have got the long back straight with the DRS and everything like that, where Resi can try and get back past us on the super soft tyres. So going into the pits now here on lap 9, going super softs to the end, and Resi follows us in as we now brake to go on the speed limiter, and we need a good pit stop here. So into the pit box we go, onto the super soft tyres now, and that's a pretty good stop. And you can see looking behind now to Resi, and he's still in the pit box for some reason. And I don't know what that was about, because there was no one there holding him up, and he didn't have a 5-second penalty, I don't think. And we've now got a pretty massive gap over him, so... And we've got Synthetic in between myself and Aresi now as well, and I think Synthetic did get some damage or something at the start, which meant he had to pit early, so he's doing a different strategy to us, so we don't really need to worry about him. And we are in P5, and pretty much P1 in terms of those who have pitted. And we are now in a really good position, but I know still we do have this pretty massive gap to Aresi, and he still has to get past Synthetic, but once again his pace on the super soft tyres is really insane, and the race is not over from here, despite the fact we have about 4 seconds on him, I think. So he's still got a push, and it's still 18 laps to go, or 19 laps to go of this race, so there's still a very long way and a lot of time where Aresi can try and catch us back up. And when you're the car chasing the car in front, I find it a lot easier to be quicker, to be honest, than when you're the car ahead, unless you're in the dirty air. And you can see we set a 36.4, but Aresi sets a 35.7, which is 7/10 quicker than us, and I thought my 36.4 was a really good lap time, and it was quicker than what I was doing in practice. So Aresi's pace is insane, and even though he may not win it this year, he won season 13 last year, he is an AOR champion, and he's definitely one to look out for in future seasons as well, because he is probably the quickest. Him along with Carrick's are probably two of the quickest I've ever raced against, and maybe Nervo Tank as well. Those three are really quick, but I don't know whether Nervo Tank is coming back to AOR, I'm not too sure about that. But Carrick's is also absent for this race as well, but you can see Synthetic is still in front of Aresi at the moment, but I don't think it's going to be very long for Aresi to get through, and that's only taken him about 3 laps to do that. And you can see now he's into P2, so yeah, 17 laps to go, and the battle is on really for the win, and I was expecting him to catch me pretty quickly. And you can see now on to lap 18, Synthetic sets the fastest lap of the race on his alternate strategy. We were setting pretty consistent and good lap times, but you can see Aresi is now 7/10 behind us, and that was in 6 or 5 laps or something. He caught up about 3 seconds, which is, yeah, pretty concerning to the rest of the field and myself as well. But you can see going slightly defensive already, trying to break the slipstream, but he now has DRS, and with 10 laps to go, or 10 and a half, you know, anything can happen. And you can see he's closing on us right now as we brake at the 100-meter board, and we hold on to the lead this time. And yeah, every lap it's going to be more and more difficult to keep him behind, but I was managing my tyres pretty well. I don't know how well his tyre management was, but we'll have to see how that goes later on in the race. But you can see he's pretty close to the back of us now, and we actually brake way too late, and we go off the track this time, and Aresi has managed to get through, and I was not happy about that, so I wanted to get him back immediately. And you can see trying to get up the inside there into the next corner, and thinking about it again through the double apex left-hander there, and Aresi defended that pretty well. But we're going to stay on board here for the next couple of laps, because after making a mistake like that, I was so determined to get that position back, and yeah, I knew I had to try and snap straight back at him whenever the next opportunity would come. You can see we've now got DRS, so possibly we could get him down here, but I think we're a bit too far behind, and also the slipstream's not very powerful, and we have DRS and looking to the inside, but we're way too far back to make a move there into turn number 1, and 3rd gear through turn 1, 4th, now 5th. And yeah, this is the part of the track where you're going to feel the dirty air the most, so hopefully we won't lose too much speed to him here. And we're taking it pretty nicely so far, and actually we're being a bit quicker than him through here, I think, and his lines were a bit wrong, so maybe he was feeling a bit of the pressure from me being right behind him. But you can see we've actually got a great opportunity to get him back here down the DRS straight, and we're going to have the slipstream, we're going to have DRS here on lap 20 to try and get him straight back braking quite a bit later into the hairpin, so we just need a good run out of this corner. Opening DRS in a couple of seconds time, so DRS open now, rich fuel mix. Aresi, I expect him to go defensive here. We're in the slipstream, we're going to go for it around the outside as he defends the inside line, so braking at 100 metre board, trying to go right around the outside this time. Aresi defends it pretty nicely. We're on the curb now, we don't really get the best traction, and we're still side by side here, and we're just about edging in front, but he's still alongside us on the left here, and he's going to have the inside from the next corner, so we're going to have to try and do the cutback here, and we don't really get the best of exits there, and he holds on to the lead for the time being, but we're not letting him get away, which is what I wanted to do now, and we're now going to have another opportunity on the pit straight to try and get back through. He didn't take turn 19 very well there. I could have gone up the inside into the final corner, but that's a bit too risky, and he'd probably get me back with slipstream anyway. So opening DRS now. I expected Aresi to go defensive here, but he actually doesn't, and we're just going to slip up the inside into turn number 1 on the brakes, and we take the lead. There's a bit of contact there on the exit, and he's side by side with us, and he's desperate to try and get us back here into the S's, but he had to let us go there because 2 cars through there would always end in a crash here on lap 21. So back in the lead, I managed to do what I wanted, and now we can hopefully hold on to it from here to the end, which would be pretty good. And I think he's starting to reach the stage where his tyres are going to be a bit worse for wear, and hopefully we can hold on to this lead. And you can see now on to lap 24, 3.5 laps remaining I believe, and you can see he's in the slipstream, and the DRS going to the outside. We brake pretty early just to hold on to that inside line so he doesn't get the cut back, and we hold on to lead there pretty nicely. But it was pretty intense, this battle, from what I can remember, and yeah, only a bit left, and we're holding on to this pretty nicely. So if we can take the win here with a battle with Aresi, that would be a really, really good feeling. And you can see only 8 drivers left in the race, which is not very good at all. So hopefully we'll get a few more drivers coming in for the next few races, but obviously there are guys in F2 and F3 possibly, and maybe F4 as well, who can come up to F1. They have the pace to do so, but at this stage in the season you can't really move people from the league up into F1. You can see now onto lap 27, we've now got a 1.2 second lead over Aresi, who I think is starting to struggle on his tyres, and you can see our tyres are on 73%, and you can see Aresi's actually gone wide there, and he's spun, and he has a puncture, so his has obviously gone over 80%. So yeah, it's going to be risky for us here on the last lap to hold on and make sure we don't get a puncture, but Aresi has clearly pushed way too hard here, and he has got a puncture. He's now dropped down into 4th or 5th place now, and he's going to have to pit, and Clarkey is now into 2nd place, Synthetic's now into 3rd after doing a 2-stop, which is a very impressive drive from him. But yeah, we are now in the position to take an easy victory. We just got to take this last lap pretty cautiously, and then we should be able to hold on, and hopefully those tyres won't puncture. So you can see just taking it a lot slower compared to what I usually do, taking a bit of a weird line through there. But I know a lot of people in other tiers were doing ultra soft just for the safety of not getting a puncture, but I knew from doing practice with a lot of these guys in F1, I knew that it's going to have to be an ultra soft, super soft, because the pace advantage between the super soft and the soft is pretty massive around a lot of tracks, not just this one. So despite the fact you'd be really slow at the end, it was the best thing to do if you were decent on your tyres, which clearly Aresi wasn't, and you can see that through the way he got a puncture there. But I think he's now down into like 6th or 7th place, which means he's pretty much out of contention for the championship now, and that pretty much means that Synthetic and myself are the 2 championship contenders now, because I think Ali K retired in this race, and Simo was quite far down as well. So it's now pretty much going to be me and Synthetic. I do have the championship lead before this race as well, so we're going to extend that here today over Synthetic by another 7 points, which is a bit less than I would have hoped, seeing as he did get damage on lap 1, but it is definitely good enough, and I'll take it, as we're going to head round the final corner towards the finish line here to take victory at AOR USA. What a race, what a battle with Aresi, and we take the win with our last lap 4.3 seconds off our best lap. That just shows how cautious we were on the last lap due to punches. But That was a pretty fun race, even though there wasn't many people in the race, but I enjoyed it, being up front, having some good battles. You can see Aresi's already left the session, so I don't think he was best pleased, but we have taken victory. No penalties for us today, from second on the grid, and yeah, we are in a good position to take this championship here in our rookie season. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye.